Jimmy Hendrickson was last seen on June 11, 1991. Despite it being 28 years since his disappearance, his older sister Tammy continues searching for answers. 9 on your side's Veronica Acosta shares Tammy's journey in the last 2 decades and the story of Jimmy's disappearance in the hope someone somewhere will come forward with any information.
The 90s were a simpler time. Kids played outside, Nintendos were in, and Mario and Luigi, they were staples in many homes. All of that held true at the Hendrickson household, especially among the youngest, Jimmy.
He loved to play video games. He was a Nintendo person. He didn't like Mario, but he loved Luigi.
Tammy Tacho, Jimmy's older sister, hasn't seen her brother in 28 years. That's because the 12-year-old went missing back in 1991. Tammy and her mom had gone down to Douglas for a few days. Jimmy didn't want to go, so he stayed behind with a family friend. Tammy remembers saying bye to her little brother, thinking nothing of it.
We could still see him out of the back of the station wagon waving at us. And those red sweats. Who would know that that was the last time we were going to see him?
The last day anyone saw Jimmy was June 11th, 1991. He was reported missing on June 12th. Tammy says that friend had let Jimmy sleep over at a cousin's home.
He was going to do some work on Angelica's sister's house, and we knew that sister. So I guess Angelica thought it was okay to let Jimmy and little Justin at the time go to her sister's house with this cousin. And they were going to fix the fence in the morning, and then she was going to go pick them up.
A home in this neighborhood is where Jimmy was reported missing. Police were told Jimmy had decided to walk from the home to Nash Elementary for breakfast, and this area was the last place he was known to be. But it wasn't on that day that Tammy found out her brother was missing. She and her mom found out here, days later.
We stopped at the Triple T parking lot, and there was a payphone there. Mama said, "You call my job and tell them that I'm just coming in." So I called housekeeping, and Trish was her boss, and I was like, "Hey Trish, my mom's very nervous. We had the car broke down. We're barely getting into Tucson. She'll be there tomorrow." She says, "Oh no." She says, "You haven't heard?" She's like, "Who have you called?" "Well, we just called you, Trish." And she's all like, "Jimmy's missing." We said, "What?" She said, "Jimmy's missing. You need to come to me now."
After that, a lot is a blur for Tammy.
I thought we were in a nightmare. I thought we're gonna wake up from this and Jimmy's gonna come home and all this is just a nightmare, and we couldn't wake up from it because it was true.
For her mom, the journey has been even harder.
And she was trying to find him. She was crazy. She blamed herself for everything.
While more than 2 decades have passed, Tammy does what she can to keep her brother's memory alive. She says police took all of her brother's photos, so these plaques are all she has left. She also has this banner permanently hung outside of her home, and a few years ago, she got her hands on this, the police report on her brother's disappearance.
I call it Jimmy's Bible because it's so thick and it has so much information in it.
Tammy says all of the answers are here. She believes she knows who hurt her brother, and 28 years later, she says she continues to wait.
He's not here, and he's not missing. He was never missing. He's already gone.
Tammy has that banner up on her home and hopes someone will come forward with new information. Anyone who knows anything about Jimmy's disappearance is urged to call 88 Crime. You can actually leave a tip anonymously and give Tammy and her family the opportunity to give her brother a proper place to rest. In studio, Veronica Acosta, KGUN 9 on your side.